What a time to be a Brazilian footballer right now, because they're flourishing in the Premier League. A lot of the big transfers are happening with Brazilian players. You got Rafinha that's on his way to Barcelona. You got other Brazilians on the move, but there's two Brazilian transfers that I really want to talk about today, and that is Jesus to Arsenal for £45 million and then Richarlison to Tottenham for 50, near £60 million. Now, what's funny about these two transfers is they got a lot of coincidences that are similar to each other. You know, they're both Brazilian, of course. They both play for their national teams, of course. They're both forwards. It gets crazier. They're both 25 years old. They both played in the north of England, Manchester and Everton. And now they're both coming down to the north of London, Spurs and Arsenal. So you have exact copy of each other, two Brazilian players, forwards, 25 years old, and they're making their move to London big teams. So which one will prove to be the better signing? Who will fit into their squad better? Who will make the biggest impact? Will any of them flop? Stay tuned to the end of the video to see my verdict on who will be the better signing. Firstly, let's look at Gabriel Jesus to Arsenal. Now, this transfer has been imminent and everyone knew that was going to happen ever since Man City confirmed the signing of Erling Haaland. Everyone had an idea that he might be leaving, especially when Haaland got the number 9 shirt, which was Jesus' shirt. And it made sense because Arsenal were in desperate need of a striker since Aubameyang got kicked out. And Mikel Arteta, of course, started off his coaching career with Man City, and talks is that he had a great relationship with Jesus and Sterling especially. So it just made sense. Jesus coming to Arteta, had got a relationship. Arsenal need a striker. Man City want to get rid of a striker, make the profit. Jesus 25, he wants to be the main man. Everything just makes sense. So will Jesus be a success? Well, his output last season, he scored 8 goals and 8 assists, which isn't too great, but in that Man City team, 8 assists is actually the highest in that whole team last season because everything, the goals and assists, is so spread out between everyone. And then no one doubts his quality in terms of what type of player he is and what he brought to the Man City team. And most people can agree that if the team was built around Jesus, like Aguero had the team built around him, Jesus would have scored much more goals and probably lived up to his full potential. Now, there are a lot of stuff that's going for Jesus and Arsenal on why this should be a success. Because, of course, Arsenal need a striker. Arsenal play like Man City. Arteta is a disciple of Pep Guardiola. Arsenal are almost like a Man City's little brother in terms of the passing, the creating chances, the pressing. They both have good attacking wingers, the Spanish coach. So Jesus is coming to an Arsenal who are perfectly right for Jesus to just straight plug into the team and just carry on playing the way he's been normally playing for Man City and just play for Arsenal. But this time, Arsenal are going to treat Jesus like the main man. Jesus gets to feel like the main man, the main focal point, the star player, the person who's going to get all the goals. And Jesus never got that chance at Man City, which is why he probably never lived up to Aguero's potential, which he was meant to. And then another thing to mention is the culture Arsenal have already fits perfectly for Jesus because there's a strong Brazilian presence in the squad. You got Gabriel Magalhaes, Gabriel Martinelli. Jesus is also, his name is Gabriel. So we have 3 Gabriels in our team. And then you got the new boy, Fabio Vieira. He's from Portugal, speak Portuguese, same language as all the Brazilians. Then you got our director, Edu, is Brazilian. The manager, Arteta, he's got a relationship with Jesus. So everything just fits. And when a player signs for a new club, especially foreign ones, especially outside European ones, it's very important that they have players that they can talk to in their native language or they can feel left out, which is why a lot of Argentinians and Brazilians haven't had successes in Premier League. So everything points to the right direction for Jesus to be a success at Arsenal. Next, let's look at Mr. Richarlison to Tottenham for £55 million/60. Now, this deal was a bit of a shock because there weren't many rumours linking Richarlison to Tottenham. And Richarlison favours the left wing position, and Spurs arguably have the best left winger in the Premier League of world in Son Heung-min. But nonetheless, I think this could be a great signing because Spurs have a world-class manager in Conte and he knows what he wants. So there's no way he'll commission a Richarlison transfer to his team if he doesn't have in his mind what he really wants with them. Plus you have world-class players like Harry Kane and Son Heung-min who will love just the fact that there's depth in their attack and they can always intertwine the positions. And this is a chance for the Tottenham to be real contenders now, because they've got Kulusevski, Son, Kane, Richarlison. You just need a lot of attackers and wingers, and that's what Spurs have done. And Richarlison is going to bring that fluid attack, playing from the left or play from the right or centrally, because he's done it all for Everton. He's always been a great player for them. He went there 4 years ago when Everton were challenging for Europe. He took on that challenge from Watford, but Everton self-destructed that season. But Richarlison remained a positive influence. Even last season, during Everton's dismal form where they were almost close to getting relegated, it was Richarlison's goals that kept him in the Premier League. So now Spurs have signed him, and they've got a blistering attack with the guys I've mentioned. And then it's a serious upgrade for Tottenham, because who have had Tottenham had for the last few years to come in for Kane and Son? Lucas Moura, Bergwijn, they just never were doing the job, and Kane was always burnt out. So for them to spend 60 million on a reserve striker almost is a big statement. While this could be spectacular signing, to me this is more chance of being a fail as well, because Richarlison can be a bit hit and miss sometimes. And they're spending 60 million on him, which is 20 million more than the 40 million on Jesus. And it's a bit of a risk. 60 million. Richarlison has shocking misses. He plays very badly sometimes. He can misplace easy passes. He loves diving. Sometimes he can have a bit of an attitude problem, which I doubt he'll have with Antonio Conte as manager. So let's see how this one goes. Very interesting. You got two Brazilians in North London, and let's see how they develop. So, in conclusion, it's exciting times to be a Premier League fan, because you're seeing these high-profile players moving within the Premier League instead of the past times when the top players will be moving to Spain and Germany. Now, the general feeling amongst casual fans and deep-hearted fans is that Jesus is the better player of the two between Richarlison, and Jesus is the better signing. He costs cheaper and he'll be more of a success. And because he will fit in Arsenal's system so much better, whereas Richarlison might take time, you'd assume Jesus is the surefire thing that's going to win between these two. However, I will not be surprised if Richarlison is amazing at Tottenham, because remember, Jesus had the luxury of playing for Man City, the best team in England, where they always kept the possession, they were always on top of teams, and Jesus were almost getting all the goals handed to him on a plate from all the best players. It was just easier to score. But also, of course, you need quality to be in that team. Whereas you look at Richarlison's career trajectory, played for Watford, then he moved to Everton, two very struggling teams. He's used to working hard for the ball. He's a grafter. He's always had to create his own goals. And Jesus didn't, not as much, because he was getting assists. Richarlison is more of a goal-getter, and this might help him be more of a success, because now he's at Tottenham with much better players, much better system around him. He doesn't all have to, he won't get double-teamed in defence, so he might get more easier chances. So with that in back of mind, Richarlison could be the better signing also. But it's brilliant seeing two Brazilians coming to North London, one to Tottenham, one to Arsenal, made the rivalry continue and made these Brazilians succeed. Let me know in the comments who you think will be better. Thank you.